So the Nomad name is already trademarked, and we all know Steve Rogers went off the grid after Civil War. But what if, during that time, he actually became Nomad again, operating in the shadows, and even started training someone new to take up the mantle? In the comics, Nomad was an identity Steve adopted when he gave up being Captain America, walking away from the Shield and everything it stood for. But bringing him back in that role might actually hurt his legacy. It'd feel like a step backward. Plus, let's be real, doing a gritty, grounded Disney Plus series with Steve would be expensive and tricky to pull off. There have been other people to wear the Nomad title too, like Rikki Barnes and Steve's adopted son, Ian Rogers. But the version that stuck with most fans is Jack Monroe, who officially took the title in Captain America number 282 back in June 1983. If Marvel wants to explore the Nomad story, it might make more sense to focus on Jack as the new face of that identity, maybe with Steve serving as a mentor in flashbacks or secret cameos. That way, they keep the legacy alive without undoing Steve's arc. If you haven't heard of him yet, meet Jack Monroe. He's from Naugatuck, Connecticut. He ended up becoming an adventurer and teamed up with William Burnside, a guy who took on the identity of Steve Rogers back in the 1950s. The two worked as Bucky and Captain America for a while before being put into suspended animation. Years later, they're both thawed out, but things go sideways. Still stuck in a warped mindset from the past, they try to take down the real Captain America and the Falcon. Eventually, though, they're stopped and put back into suspended animation. Later on, Burnside gets revived again, but ends up brainwashed by a shady psychologist named Dr. Faustus. Faustus turns him into the Grand Director, a fascist leader of a group called the National Force. While under Faustus's influence, Burnside shoots Jack Monroe, seemingly killing him. In the end, the original Cap and Daredevil take down Faustus and Burnside, who ultimately takes his own life. Turns out, Faustus had actually loaded Monroe's gun with blanks. He had future plans for him that never panned out. Monroe ended up in Shield custody, got treated for his mental health issues, and seemed to recover. After that, he went looking for Steve Rogers, and even put on the old Bucky costume to help him take down the terrorist Viper. Not long after, Steve gave Monroe the Nomad identity, his old alias, and Monroe suited up as Nomad to keep fighting alongside Cap, including another run-in with Viper. He went on to face off with the Slayer, then officially teamed up with Captain America again and helped take on the Sisters of Sin. As Bucky, he had a psychological showdown with Baron Zemo, and later helped Cap defeat the Red Skull, who was believed to have died in the battle. Monroe even pulled off a successful solo mission by capturing the unhinged villain Madcap, and after that, he parted ways with Captain America. Later, he got a new Nomad costume and helped Cap dismantle the Slug's criminal empire. Monroe returned once again when Steve Rogers was forced to give up being Captain America. Rogers kept fighting the good fight under a new alias, the Captain, wearing a black version of his costume. He hit the road with a team of old allies, including Nomad, Demolition Man, and the Falcon. Monroe's girlfriend at the time, a rookie hero named Vagabond, joined them too. During this arc, Nomad is shown to be pretty moody and kind of a jerk, especially to Demolition Man, partly because he noticed Vagabond and D-Man seemed to have a little spark. Nomad ended up going toe-to-toe with Vibro at one point. Then when a breakaway group from the Serpent Society, led by the terrorist Viper, tried to poison DC's water supply, the captain and his crew jumped in to stop it. During the chaos, Nomad, Vagabond, and Demolition Man got captured by the Commission and locked up. That's when Sidewinder, the former Serpent Society boss with teleportation powers, popped into the jail to bust out Diamondback. She helped the captain against Viper and got thrown in jail for it. Sidewinder offered to break out the other heroes too. Vagabond and Demolition Man said no, wanting to do things by the book. Nomad wasn't having any of that. He mocked them and took the chance to escape with Sidewinder and Diamondback. That move pretty much ended things between him and Vagabond. Later, when Rogers asked Nomad for help, he found him drunk at a bar. Once Nomad learned Rogers planned to turn himself in to the Commission, he wanted nothing to do with it, and they parted ways on bad terms. Back on his own, Nomad started a personal war against drug lord Umberto Sefilios. He ditched the superhero spandex and went full-on urban vigilante. At one point, he even took a baby from her drug-addicted mother and named her Bucky. His actions caught the attention of the Commission on Superhuman Activities, who weren't thrilled. They teamed up with the military and sent Steve Rogers, back as Captain America, to bring him in. During the confrontation, Nomad took out Sefilios and ended up killing multiple drug dealers and government agents. After that, he hit the road, focusing on real-world issues most superheroes tend to ignore, like AIDS, homelessness, and hate crimes. At one point, Jack Monroe heads out to LA and spends quite a bit of time there. While in the city, he becomes loosely connected with a group called the Undergrounders, a grassroots network of people across the US who help each other out when needed. Thanks to them, Jack always has someone reliable to watch little Bucky when he's heading into super dangerous situations, though honestly, his whole life is probably too dangerous for a kid. During his LA stint, Jack softens up. He loses a lot of his edgy, self-destructive tendencies and starts showing more heart and compassion. But things take a serious turn when he realizes there's a chance he or Bucky could have contracted HIV, either from her birth parents or from Jack receiving care via the Undergrounders. He gets them both tested, but the results are never revealed. Later, Nomad teams up with heavy hitters like the Punisher and Daredevil to take on a major criminal alliance. He even shows up during the Infinity Crusade, where he's mostly just hanging out in space with Forge while the bigger cosmic stuff goes down. He does face off with an evil Gambit clone, though, and helps Doctor Strange battle the Demon Queen Lilin. On the road again, Nomad deals with all kinds of threats, from the hate-monger and Man-Thing to Bucky's mom, who was brainwashed into an assassin sent to kill him. That whole setup was part of a scheme by the Favor Broker, a recurring pain in Jack's side. Eventually, Jack is thought to be dead after a clash with a Nazi militia in his hometown. His dad had actually been a Nazi sympathizer in World War II. Turns out Jack wasn't dead, but was put back into suspended animation. Authorities even used a random person's body as a decoy. Later, Henry Gyrich brings Jack back and loads him with nanites that let Gyrich completely control him. Jack becomes a new version of the vigilante scourge of the underworld. He's fully aware of what he's doing, but can't fight back or tell anyone the truth. The Thunderbolts eventually take him down and free him. Jack reclaims his Nomad identity, but starts to spiral again, suffering from more mental health issues. Well, that's it for today. Who do you think should suit up as Nomad in the MCU? Jensen Ackles, Glenn Powell, or someone totally unexpected? Drop your pick in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more updates, theories, and upcoming movie news. We'll catch you in the next one.